Hey friends, Dr. Charlie Ware, your natural pain and chronic pain specialist, coming to you live again today. Just want to jump right into it real quick because there's a lot of information out there and a lot of things that I have patients ask me constantly about taking vitamins and taking minerals and taking a lot of different things. And people just don't know what to take and why they're taking things of that sort. So I want to just jump into it. Most of the vitamins that people are taking today on the market is actually synthetic. So the difference between knowing what is synthetic and also what's natural and how it can actually help your body can actually make a world of difference in your and also your family's lifestyle as well. So, like I said, about 90% of the vitamins that you're taking right now are actually synthetic. And what I mean by synthetic, they're actually made in a laboratory. And put in a pill or a gel form, liquid form, things of that sort, in order to sell them on the market. There's only about maybe 4 or 5 major pharmaceutical companies that still actually make synthetic vitamins that distribute to all of other individuals. I guess most things that are on the market right now, they're just an off-brand of an off-brand of an off-brand. Let's go ahead and be completely natural and be real with you. So again, some of the things that you want to be careful about, and the reason why synthetic can be bad is because of the fact that, like we found out years ago, a lot of times that if you go to Consumer Reports, you'll see what they do is they do a lot of information on which vitamins actually have what they say they have inside them. So say for instance you get a classic vitamin C. I did this maybe 2 weeks ago because I was researching something for a patient of mine. I sent some reports out to patients later on tonight as well, but I was trying to basically compare different vitamin C's. I'm just going through some things, just see if there's anything new out there, because I do like my liposomal C's and whatever. It's a different type of vitamin C, but it was kind of sad to see that most of the top name brand vitamin C companies that you see on television or whatever had only about 20 to 30% of the amount of the vitamin C they actually said they actually had in there as well. And then this just goes on from different vitamins over and over again. And then when you look at more of a natural vitamin is essentially a plant-based vitamin that they have companies like Mega Foods. Mega Foods is one of the big ones out there. Pure Encapsulation is another big one out there that actually do a lot of plant-based nutrition. And so if it says the vitamin C is usually derived from like a citrus-type fruit or a kiwi, something that's high in potency, what they do is they dehydrate it down, and actually basically it'll be just that fruit dehydrated into a capsule or a liquid form, or a tablet, things of that sort. So essentially what you want to do is you want to basically look at the back of the actual label to say that it should say a 100% plant-based. And that's the only way to sort of say it's actually natural. Now, let me tell you a few of the reasons why. I'm glad to see some of you guys are actually online. How you doing, Miss Forrest? How you doing, Miss Fulzel? Sorry if I pronounced your name incorrectly. But the reason why, the difference between natural and synthetic is such a wide margin. The reason why synthetic is largely pushed is some of the conversations years ago was also the fact that synthetic was more bioavailable. Basically means that when you take it, you're able to use it as fast as possible, and your body can respond to it. So what starts to happen was we see that when synthetic, just like anything that's synthetically made, there are side effects, or there's different byproducts that you have to use in order to make that let's say magnesium. And years ago, when we were doing some testing, we found out that a lot of magnesiums that were even on the market was just basically chalk, or calcium vitamins. It was just basically, really, when I say chalk, it was basically like actual chalk, something that, you're right on the board with, or something that you really wouldn't want to actually ingest. With all those side effects, we start seeing that individuals were possibly start having more of a health issue if they were taking them long term. So what we started to do before there were natural vitamins, or really learning, I'm talking like 15, 20 years ago, was the fact that you're taking these things thinking that you're going to be healthier, but then there wasn't either enough inside there, or there were just so many byproducts inside of that vitamin that it was causing more of a health thing. And for sickle cell patients, everyone says take your folic acid, take your folic acid, take your folic acid. I cringe whenever I hear that, as well as when I hear someone says, oh, is this all natural formula and it has folic acid inside there? And I'm like, how can it be all natural? Folic acid is a synthetic form of folate acid that's naturally inside the body. So, that's one reason why even with our formulas, we have folate acid inside of it versus the folic acid, because again, we try to be all natural. But the reason why the folic acid can be detrimental is because they showed how, taking too much folic acid, and this is the folic acid, can be detrimental because actually it can harden the arteries and actually cause other cardiac issues as well. There's a lot of research out there concerning that. And sorry if I look down because actually I had to check something really quick. I truly apologize, but essentially the folic acid, as I said, can cause hardening of the actual arteries, and actually there's been some studies showing that it can actually definitely cause some other cardiac issues. That's why I'm a huge proponent of being as natural as possible. And then couple that with taking synthetic magnesium, it's been shown again to actually cause some neurological issues here and there. And I'm not saying this happens in every person. What I'm saying is there's a possibility. And in every study that they've shown, the only issue with taking a natural form of these vitamins was the fact that the bioavailability of it. So it's just like saying that, either you can take a handful of vitamins or you can go out and have a healthy meal. The healthy meal you have to digest. You have to go and let your body process all of those nutrients and things of that sort. Or you can try to get that immediate reaction by having that handful of vitamins that you may have a immediate reaction, or you may not. But long story short is, which one would you prefer? Is to have that healthy meal that's well balanced versus having a hand of synthetic vitamins that you're assuming that you're so healthy. There's some studies actually done here in the United States, as well as some done in Europe, that sort of shows that sometimes vitamins can actually have a placebo effect. Not saying that they don't work. Trust me. I had a patient today. Unfortunately, she went crazy with B vitamins, and her B12, we got a report back. B12 should be around in like 85, 86. She was, I think, 1,500. She was 1,500, 1,050. Excuse me. I can't speak to that. 1,050 with her vitamin B. And again, that's way, way, way above normal. So that's throwing everything else off in her body. So we have to sort of, get her back into range. So yes, you can overdo vitamins, in fact. So when you start to overdo vitamins, what starts to happen? We don't know, again, what tends to happen. We know that if you have too much iron, you can start to have stomach cramps. We know if you have, sometimes too much B vitamins, or actually, let's say vitamin E. Vitamin E is a great oil if you use it in a natural substance, from a natural substance, like, different nuts has it. The different leaves actually have a lot of vitamin E inside of it. So if you use it in those forms, you're pretty fine. But if you overuse vitamin E, it can actually be a blood thinner as well. The same thing if you use too many omega oils. It can actually, and I'm talking about if you use a lot of them, you can actually start to thin your blood out as well. So there are side effects to almost anything you do. But if you're in a natural realm, that's going to curve a lot of those issues a lot faster and a lot easier. You want to have your vitamins as less processed as possible to make it more readily available. Yes, we know that a woman who's pregnant, her prenatal vitamins are very crucial. But what we want to make sure is that when she's taking that prenatal, there are any byproducts that can be going to the actual baby as well. There are two sets of types of vitamins. You got to look at it where it's like, you have the water-soluble ones, which is like the C's and some of the B's. And then you have the other ones that are lipid, which means that you need different oils in your system in order to make sure that, it stays in your body, like the D vitamins and the A vitamins and the K vitamins. We already know that if you have too much vitamin A inside your system, that, it can actually cause different birth defects. And if you're having a synthetic vitamin A, it's harder for your body to get rid of it. The vitamin C's and vitamin B's is easy for you to actually get rid of because you usually urinate those out. The other ones, the A's, the K's, and things of that sort, essentially, it's hard for you to get rid of because it goes into your fat, stores in order for that to actually work. So it's hard for you to get rid of those, byproducts inside of your fat stores versus your urine. I tell people all the time, if you overdo on vitamin C, what's going to happen is you'll probably have diarrhea. That's about it. If you overdose on your B vitamins, usually you won't have any, direct effects except for you may have some insomnia and things of that sort. But you know, when you look at vitamin K and also vitamin A, these are things that can actually affect, you know, birth defects or clotting issues if you're taking different vitamins that synthetic vitamins that have these inside there. So you want to be very, very careful with your multivitamins. And most multivitamins are going to be synthetic unless you get it from a source that, again, it has to say what, 100% plant-based. You know, and they're nowadays a lot of companies are organic, non-GMO, and those labels sometimes can be misleading, thinking that, oh, it's organic, non-GMO, so it must be plant-based. No, not necessarily. You know, they can be getting it from a plant-based source, but then they also process it a little bit different as well, and then it becomes, again, a synthetic form of something as well. And like I always said, you got to be very careful. You got to read the labels. You got to make sure that everything that you're giving yourself, you're giving your kids, you got to make sure that you read the labels and you understand what's really going on. And that's one reason why, you know, I do these on Facebook Live to make sure that I try to give you guys some information. You know, if any of this information is not like sort of like coming along well to you, please ask a question. I've seen quite a few of you guys on there. You know, I'm here to actually answer those questions, make sure that I'm getting some of that mystery out of it a little bit more. But again, you know, like I'll give you a personal account. My mom years ago, she was told to take a vitamin E capsules every day. But at some point, her doctor didn't tell her when not to stop taking it, so she kept taking it over and over and over again. And we're noticing that her skin was starting to thin a little bit. And that's one of those side effects of taking too much vitamin E. As I said before, it thins your blood out. It can also start to thin your skin out. So essentially, she was almost like taking a blood thinner on a daily basis because of the dosage that she was taking it as well. So essentially, I got her to stop taking it all together. Now we had to start to rebuild her system, you know, over a period of time as well. So, like I was saying, again, here's one study that I want to throw out there to you. It was a study that showed that this is not all across the board. I say some, you know, cases that a multivitamin from a synthetic source can also be a cancer risk as well, because it's a synthetic source that's, you know, has all these byproducts. And don't want to scare you as well, but it was one on, it says, you know, there's some evidence that synthetic folic acid is more harmful than the natural folic acid because the buildup and the rise of the risk of the folic acid actually can cause cancers as well. So you guys got to be very, very careful with that. One question I have: the vitamin D3 and 10,000 units. Okay, good. Should I take it once a day or twice a week? I don't know how low your vitamin D is, so I couldn't answer that for you. The reason why I say I couldn't answer that for you because, again, naturally, if you go out in the sun, like right now, it's a cloudy day here in South Florida, but if you go out in the sun, as soon as the sun hits your skin, and you're out there for, and this is even for African Americans, anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, you have 5 billion units of vitamin D coursing through your body. So taking 10,000 units of vitamin D, it can work, but again, you gotta understand that's from a synthetic source as well. I like Nordic Naturals. They actually are a supplement company that, you know, 95% of their vitamins are from a natural source. Again, you can get vitamin D in a lot of like goat products, a lot of leafy green products, some tropical fruit as well. So they source their things properly as well. But again, if you go out in the sun on a daily basis, ask Ms. Ford, she's always out in the sun on a daily basis. Last time she had a test, I guarantee you her vitamin D wasn't low because she's out there all day, every day. And not all day, but I'm saying she's at least getting at least 20 minutes to 45 minutes of sunlight a day. That's very, very important. You have I'm not a huge I'm a fan of theirs with certain things. I'm gonna say it like this: when it comes to a vitamin company, you have to look at every individual product. You can't say that, okay, well, this is a good company, I'm going to use everything from them, because I definitely don't do that with my patients. I pick and choose the things that I like. That's why I was saying with Nordic Naturals, they have about, I say 90 to 95% of their vitamins are all natural. Not all of them, but 90 to 95% of them. And then if you look at a company like Pure Encapsulation, they only have, I mean, they're a great company, very, very well researched, but again, about 25 to 30% of their vitamins are all natural. Mega Foods is the parent company or sister company of a company called Innate Response. phenomenal company, and essentially every one of their vitamins is from a natural source, a plant-based source. So Mega Foods, you can find in Whole Foods or other markets. The Innate brand is only for professionals like myself and things like that. So, but the Mega Foods is one of the companies that I tell patients all the time, go to them. I like their stuff only because of the fact that, you know, I know it's all natural. So something as little as chlorophyll, you know, they now have a synthetic chlorophyll out there called chlorellin. Chlorellin is a synthetic form of chlorophyll, and the reason why I don't like it, again, because it will raise iron levels like nobody's business out there, and I do not like it. Our chlorophyll is from spinach and kale, and I'm sorry, celery, I think, a little bit of celery in there. And why do we use it like that? Well, it's because of the fact that I want it from a natural source. You know, that's why even in our super juice, you know, everything's in there is from a natural source. Our blue-green algae is actually from blue-green algae. You know, our berries, I mean, even the sweetener in there is from dehydrated apples and cinnamon. You know, so that's one reason why, like I say, is like you have to make sure that everything you're doing, you're doing it from the benefit, not for a short-term effect, but for a long-term effect. If you look at, you know, all of healing blends, herbs are natural herbs. The unique aspect of our herbs is the fact of the way we process. We understand how to process herbs efficiently and effectively to get every phytonutrient out of there, and also every phytochemical out there to make sure it's going to be maximally beneficial to all of our customers as well. So that's the difference. You know, it's like most herbs. If you see turmeric, I'm going to pick on turmeric for a minute. One reason why you'll never hear me tell patients go out and start taking turmeric is because of the fact that in order for your body to absorb turmeric or curcumin, which is the phytochemical of turmeric, you have to take a crap load of like coconut oil and or olive oil and things like that for your body to be able to absorb those phenomenal trace nutrients inside of turmeric. So when someone says, I'm taking all this turmeric, I'm taking all this cinnamon, this is one of the things that's inside there is a lipophilic type thing that you need an oil in order to process that. So if you're not having any oils with it, or the reason why, if you see it where turmeric actually originated was like in India and places like that, they put it in different types of milk to actually make sure you can digest it, things like that. But if you just take what's on the shelf and start taking it, I'm not saying you won't have any sort of benefit, but you won't have that maximized benefit. So it's almost like you have to take, you know, bottle after bottle after bottle after bottle until you get that benefit. Or you can have someone to put things together for you, and all of a sudden you have that immediate benefit to get you to where you want to be. And most individuals, I say about 95 to 99% of individuals that's on the market will not do that. Yes, golden milk. Golden milk is the way that is the original way that they were given, and golden milk was designed to be anti-inflammatory for arthritis and other stomach issues as well. But it's all about inflammation, to, you know, things of that sort as well. So if you want to share that recipe, Miss James, that'll be phenomenal because I don't have it right now. But it's pretty simple. Things is like coconut milk, turmeric, and some other little spices as well. So, but again, this is one of those things where I always said you have to be, you know, well educated on why you're doing something. You gotta make sure that, okay, well, you know, I want to be healthy. Let's go ahead and say I want to be healthy, and then all of a sudden you start taking, you know, different multivitamins and different vitamins without even knowing. Another case study of mine. This is kind of funny. I had a patient. Had for years, and also one day she came in and was like her fingers and toes were numb, and I just couldn't figure it out. I was like, okay, well, we went over her diet. She was not pre-diabetic, you know, wasn't any other she was on any medications. The only thing that she had did different was, you know, she was already taking different vitamins that had selenium inside of it. So then she started to eat 5 to 10 different Brazilian nuts. Brazilian nuts are very, very high in different oils, and one of the oils and trace minerals that they're high in is called selenium. Now, if you have too much selenium in your system, the side effect to that is numb fingers and toes, you know, neuropathy, like, or what's it called, pseudo neuropathy. And we found that out because of the fact we kept going over her diet over and over and over again. And she tells me that, okay, well, I saw on Dr. Oz that he said, eat 10 Brazilian nuts a day to get all of the selenium you need. But she's already taken 2 supplements that actually had, the daily allowance of selenium. So she was ODing on selenium. So again, even natural things you can overdo. But what I'm trying to say is you have to make sure that you go and do your research, and actually there's an easy test that a doctor can run on you and say, do a full trace mineral and macronutrient panel on you, and show you exactly where you are weak, and then you start to sort of supplement like that as well. And it should be really, really cheap to do. And yes, you can definitely go to Vitamin Shop and get a premix. There are ones that you can actually take as well. Miss James as well. Again, even in that premix, make sure that there's nothing else added to it, no sugars and things like that. Or if there's a sugar added to it, make sure it's like stevia. Anything beyond stevia, be very, very careful, because you don't want things too sweet, because that can actually counteract the actual good benefits from it as well too. So if you guys, again, make sure that you put on your notifications, so whenever I'm on, you guys would know I'm on. And again, I only go off the actual questions that I always get. And yes, I always get about vitamins and which one should I take and which one I shouldn't take. When it comes to sickle cell patients, there's a bunch of things that you shouldn't do. But right now, I'm telling you, from a general standpoint, you got to read. You have to read. You have to read. You have to educate yourself. But you see, if you go back and look at all my Facebook Lives, I'm trying to give you enough information so you can make the best choice for yourself and also your loved ones as well. So again, if you guys have any questions, always feel free to continue to ask me, and we will be with you very soon. Again, it's Dr. Charlie Ware, your natural pain and chronic disease specialist. Talk to you soon. All right, guys. Bye.